Hey YouTube, it's Taki with TaqiTech. Okay, sorry, this may be out of order here, or you might be wondering what exactly is going on. Um, Basically, don't pay attention to this order part right here. There was a video that was erased, and it wasn't the last video, it was a video before last. So just need to clarify a few things, and then we're going to jump into where we left off on the last video, which you may actually never see. I might end up combining the two into this one, and unfortunately I'm not really up on the video editing yet, so it's this take or no take. But enough with the digression here. Basically, what we need to do is we need to give this dashboard some functionality. So when we say no to hair color and we say no to eye color, then we shouldn't print the columns for eye color or hair color. And here we say no to weight. And what I said here was that if we're going to say no to weight, we're also not going to print the height. And I said age will be dealt with in a future release on how we're going to either print the age or not print the age. And maybe we just want to print names and that's it. So what I did is I went into the code, into our main module here, and first thing I did was I checked to see if cell F3 and F4, so if we go back to our dashboard, F3 is the male names, the number of male names, F4 is the number of female names. If that is less than 1, we're exiting the sub. And it's important that you do exit sub and not exit function. Okay. So that's the first thing, and it just stops. Future releases will have an error message there, and it will say, like, you didn't enter any names, we can't proceed, or something like that. The other thing I want to mention here is the F statement is all one line, and if you don't have any else ifs, if you don't have any other conditions, if you only have one line of code for the condition that you're testing for, then you could write it all in one line. If you don't have more than one line of code, you could write it all in one line just by doing if and then. And in other languages, there's something called ternary statement, but that's a digression that I'm not going to get into. We don't have time for it here. Then we go down here and we basically create the new sheet, determine data if all this is fine. We copy and paste the names, so the names are still there. We're going to get rid of this. We do not need this at all. And then what I say here, and I'm getting all the videos mixed up because I did a lot of them today. So hopefully I already talked about moving. All we have to do if we want to switch columns around, we want to put the weight next to the height, is just move them in the order that we want them in. So I think I had age before height, and I just put height before age. But here we go with the error correction. So what I'm doing is I'm checking F5. So if we go to our dashboard here, F5 is this cell right here, yes or no for hair color. And if it says yes, then we're going to run get hair color. If it says no, then nothing's going to happen. And again, one line of code, because if it says no, we don't have to do any other instructions. And the same logic for each one, going down here, F6, F7, looking for the eye color, and then looking for the weight. And if no weight, then no height. So, and if there is weight, then we're going to get both of them. And then we do the get age, which we'll make that conditional in future releases. Then on the next video, I started, so that covered video 1. This will be covering video 2. On the next video, what I did was we started to put the names in order. So we have normal, reverse, first name, and last name. Okay, so I'm only going to run it for 1 and 1 here, and we'll see what results we get. And so far I've tested it and it's working pretty good here. And let's run it first. Let's do reverse. And one of the things I also discovered here that will be in future releases is you're going to get an error message, or basically the program will say, this data sheet will say, you already have a sheet named reverse. You can't make another one named reverse. So we're going to need to in the future releases deal with that error handling. So let's see here. So first off, I want to delete these. As we can see here, I have it reversed with the comma in the middle. So I got that to work out. And here we just have first names. And here we just have last names. And hopefully when we do it this time, the comma will be gone if it's just only the last name. All right. And we can get rid of reverse flash. And here we go here. So first one we're going to do is reverse. And let's go to custom lists and go back to reverse here. So here we go. We have the last name, then the first name for reverse. All right. Now we're going to do first name only. And first name is Harper and Miracle. Cool. All right, now we're just going to do last names only. Hopefully we won't see that comma. And we got Man and Porter for last name. And I never did get, and it's a pretty simple thing to do to get it off, but that will be like maybe the first thing we do on new releases. And basically all I would need to do is just active worksheet, select focus or something along those lines. Select just a cell right here, and that's all I would need to do, or just select the cell or that cell. Just do A1. So maybe I might write that as we slide across home plate here. Let's take a look at the code here. So I had to do extensive work in the enter data part of the names module. And don't pay attention to all these sheets here. Basically, Excel is just kind of stuck here. So here we go, and let me just kind of start explaining the code here. So I created a variable called last part that is a string that holds the value we are returned from a function called getLastName, and getLastName also returns a string, and we're passing in the column letter. And basically what we're looking at is that very first column letter versus what we chose here for the order. We go back to our dashboard. So F2, that would be the order. So F2 value. So if it's normal, getLastName of course will be C like always. If it's reverse, getLastName will be the column letter. And then what we would do is once we return the column letter, and if we're saying the last name is A or B, for now this is concentrate on A and B, a male first name or a female first name, then we're going to change the column letter. The very first part that's going to be printed will be C. So we're going to print the last name first, then the last part will be either the male or the female first name. If it's a first name, we're going to return a D, and basically all that means is there is no, if we go here and look at our names list here, there's nothing in column D here. And that's basically just dead air, so to speak. It's just blank data. Okay. And then if it's a last name, we're going to do X. This goes over to our last part of our if statement. So if it's A, B, or X, the column letter is going to be C. And then the last part will be X, which means that if I look at the formula, X should be, there shouldn't be any data in X, so it's just like I'm using D again, I believe. Alright, so this part is the same, this part stays the same. When I was writing the formula, I made a mistake here that cost me about 30 minutes to figure out. And what I did was, so we got our formula, a dot formula, we're using a dot operator, we're going to the formula, and we're equal, and so we're jumping right into the equal sign, but this is what I had here, space. I couldn't figure out, and I was trying everything, and then of course I thought it was this new function that I put in it. I was like, oh, it's not reading that, it's not getting that correctly. All I needed to do was this, because when it was printing, when it was supposed to be printing the first and last names, what it was printing was the formula. And I was like, okay, why isn't the formula working? Why isn't this formula function working? And all it was this. And I spent about 30 minutes on it, and that's the life of a programmer. So what I have in here is basically we've replaced This used to say C, now it says last part. So we made both ends of this dynamic. The first name or last name could be here, and basically we're just switching around the column letters depending on what we want to display first. And then to get real fancy with it, I created a get space function. And basically, let's go down here to the get space function. Get space function, we're passing in the column letter. We're saying if it is C, and if we go back here and go back to our dashboard, and this order does not say last name, then we're going to return the comma and the space. So we have last name, comma, space, first name. Otherwise, it will always be either first name, space, last name, first name, space, D, first name, or last name, space, X. So there you go. And I'm a little foggy here on why I chose X. I just think I needed to do that because to differentiate it between when it is D and when I don't want this to be C. So I hope that explains everything. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. We're hitting right up here to the deadline that I set for this project. I did say I was gonna let me just write this one more line of code as we say goodbye, or at the end of this part of the project here. I've tested everything. If you are having problems, leave them in the comments. You know, as we go on with these projects, leave the problems that you have in the comments, and I will help you troubleshoot them to the best of my ability. What do we want to do here? So we want to go to our main method, and we want to active sheets, new name. So active workbook, sheets. I need a break, guys. Sheets. Let's see here. Okay, new sheet name. Okay, and we're going to do dot cells. Let's do range. I believe that will work. No, that won't work right there if I leave it like that. No exclamation marks in Excel yet. Dot select. And that should all pop up here. All right, let's run it here and see if we get an error. And we're gonna do this normal. I'm gonna call this hold on. Let's do 400 male names and 300 female names, and we don't need to worry about height. And then we're just gonna have age here. All right, let's run it. It's gonna be called final. And let's see what we get here. No errors, please. No errors. And as you can see, it doesn't have everything selected again. It selected that A1 column just like I said it would. Guys, thanks a lot for everything. I really enjoyed doing this project for you. I hope you were able to follow along. And thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribed if you learned anything. And until next time, and there's going to be a lot of fun stuff we're going to do here, and as we move off this project, we'll be revisiting it as there's still a lot more to be done. But until next time, take it easy.